Hello there, this is Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, and today is January the 4th, and we have some more free picks for you and a new feature. That's right, and in terms of the free picks, we have a lot of them today. We have 6 altogether for you today, looking at sides and totals of some basketball action. Tomorrow we're going to cover the NFL, which I'll mention in a second. Like I said, plus we got a new feature. We're going to have it at the end. It's going to be called our tip of the day. So we will pass that along to you as well. As far as Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, becoming a member is only going to cost you $39.99 a month. And with that, you're going to get my selections. And as I mentioned yesterday, doing extremely well in the NBA, having a very strong NFL season. College basketball, been a little bumpy so far, but we got plenty of time. We got over 2 months to get this right, and definitely worked hard at it last night. Want to get this baby turned around right away. So we have that. So all of those things are going on, and hockey's been going well too. 14-5 of late, so that's been another area that's been strong. So you're going to get all that. Plus, you're going to get my super systems. My super systems the last month are hitting better than 65%. Members are absolutely crazy about them because they deliver consistently. They don't win every day, but who does? Okay, but they're right there. They win. Variety of sports. Okay, all percentages basically of 80% or higher for the most part. So yeah, very strong. And then the wise guys consensus and the individual one. We have a hot individual right now. That person is Damien, and Damien's best bets, just one per day. He's 11-4-1 in his last 15, 73.3%. So that has been exquisite. And the wise guy consensus, it's gonna go up and down, but right now it's in a really nice groove at 9-2-1, and you're gonna get all of that every single day for $39.99 a month. Tough to pass up, my friends. Get up there, get the Vegas Pro Insider Daily. Purchase it. Let's make this happen. We'll start making you some money. Now let's move ahead to some free picks, line moves. First up, the big game lost some luster on TNT tonight. Golden State and Houston. Now in this one, Golden State last night had a nice lead at Dallas, but gave it away and needed a deep three-pointer from Steph Curry late to win that game. Even with that, though, sports bettors are still convinced that Houston's a better play against the hardened Houston Rockets, and taking Golden State from -4 up to -5.5. Along with that, they dragged the total with them, taking that up 4 points from 226 to 230. Now, even with Harden, Houston was 1-5 straight up and against the spread at home recently against Golden State. So I think Golden State gets the call there. And as far as the total, just one question: why can't it go over 230? Okay, I can't think of a reason why it can't, and can come up with very few reasons as to why you take the under. So I think the Golden State and the over appear to be the best plays on that particular game. Now let's move ahead to some college basketball. Now on ESPNU around 7 o'clock tonight, Ohio State is going to be at Iowa. And if you saw Iowa the other night against Michigan at home, they didn't look very good. I'm guilty as charged. I had them. I missed it. Okay. This is about I think the second time I think I've missed on Iowa this year. And the message that I have for you, they're not very good. I'm not saying they're not going to win and maybe not even cover, okay, in this game. But they're not a good basketball team. They're slow. And the thing that I really noticed, and I think Ohio State will look to exploit, is that their half-court defense is particularly poor. Because what they do, they tend to overcompensate all the time. So if the opposing team, in this case it was Michigan, makes threes from the corner, all of a sudden they run out to the corners all the time, well then they pass the ball back to the top of the key, wide open shooter, okay? And vice versa. Guys make a couple shots top of the key, Iowa defenders come at them, kick it out to the corners, making shots over there. You still got to make the shots, I understand. But bettors are in agreement with this perception, and have taken Iowa from -1 to +1.5 at home against Ohio State. Ohio State did beat Michigan. Now that game was at Columbus, so that's of note. I think Michigan probably is still a little bit better, but I think Ohio State is more than capable of beating what I'll say again, is a slow Iowa team that has a couple of decent players, but not a whole lot else going on. Let's move ahead to the Sun Belt. Arkansas Little Rock is at Georgia State. That's going to be an ESPN3, I think, also around 7 o'clock. And here we got the side and a total for you also. Now, in this one, you know, Georgia State went to the tournament a couple years ago. Coach Hunter had his son on the team, had a nice ball club. They're not the same team. But you know what? Neither is Arkansas Little Rock. Arkansas Little Rock, for decades, had a really solid basketball program, always near the top of the Sun Belt Conference. And that is no longer the case. They're 4-11 this season. Even with that, though, bettors thought the Georgia State was a little overvalued. Took them down from minus 15.5 down to minus 13.5. But the total went the other way. Total went from 123 up to 126. I'm looking at this game. I see that, you know, I understand the logic here for lowering Georgia State, but then I look at Arkansas Little Rock on the road this year. They've played 7 times away from home. They're 0-7 straight up, and they've been losing by 17.1 points per game. Whew. That's a tough one to swallow. So with that, to me, it's Georgia State or nothing on the side. And as far as the total goes, I think Georgia State scores enough. Arkansas Little Rock has under tendencies, but if you look at the scores of those unders, they're typically in the upper 130s and the lower 140s. So I think we're going to get an over on this game as well. So Georgia State, over on that contest. Finally, on FS1, we're going back to the Big Ten once again. Maryland is at Michigan State. Now, Michigan State is a little bit of a rising favorite, but I think that is mostly to do, and why we're not going to cover it here specifically, is that I think because of the injuries that Maryland has suffered, that is why the line is going up on that game for Michigan State, besides how good Michigan State actually is. But that's another point. So we're not going to cover the side, but the total has gone up 3 points to 140.5. And if you've seen Michigan State, boy, do those guys get out and run. I mean, they are one of the top teams in the country that can just get up and go. Now, you can slow them down. Okay, any team can be slowed down, but they do like to play that way. And because Maryland has lost a couple of their players to injury, that leaves them less depth. And so I think what's going to happen here is that they'll try and play slow, but Michigan State will put together some runs, and in those runs will come a volume of points, which I think will help push the total above the 140.5 mark. One other thing to consider, right now, at home, Tom Izzo's team is averaging over 97 points per game. When they score 81 or more recently, they are 10-2 over. I like the over on that game. Now, let's get to our new feature, the tip of the day. And what we're going to talk about, and this is something that you'll find as being a Vegas Pro Insider Daily member, is among things, and this won't be the same every time, but systems. And so what we're going to look at tonight in college basketball, we're going to look to play against a college basketball underdog of 3.5 to 9.5 points that has been beaten by the spread by 6 or more points in their last 3 games. Okay, so we're going to start with that. They're going to go up against an opponent who in their last game went 18 points under the total. All right, so you got those 2 things. So put those 2 together. These underdogs in the last 20 years are 8-30 against the spread. And the team that we're focused in on because of that is Southern Utah. So that's our tip of the day. Southern Utah, a bad play, system play, okay, to look at that. So, hey, this is Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. I will be back tomorrow to talk Wild Card Weekend. Got all kinds of stuff for you. Might even slip in a couple thoughts on some college basketball games over the weekend. Until then, Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. I am out.